Sportscast, October 16th, 2019. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all our channels. Periscope, iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you're on iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And visit us on thesportscast.net. This episode is brought to you by InstaBible. Read your Bible on your iPhone and make a picture. The National League is set. No, it's not. It is. The Nationals are heading to the World Series for the first time in the history of the franchise. And to talk to us and to explain how this happened, Caillou, Borden, welcome back to the Sportscast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nationals swept the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals had no chance. They beat the Dodgers. Gave them some confidence against the Cardinals. Caillou, why are the Nationals in the World Series?
The Nationals are in the World Series for a variety of reasons. I think the Nationals pitching staff has been tremendous over the last 122 games. The Nationals are 82-40. They're averaging 5.7 runs per game. They're pitching to a 3.25 ERA, 5.07 bullpen ERA. The first 50 games, they were 19-31. They were averaging 4.4 runs per game, 3.89 starters ERA, 7.02 bullpen. They're the fourth team to reach the World Series after being 12 games under 500. They're simply heading to the World Series because they've been dominant at home. They're 13-1 in the last 14 games at home. They're averaging 6.4 runs per game, 2.99 starters ERA, 3.02 bullpen ERA. Their lineup was great yesterday. They put 7 runs in the first inning. Trey Turner was 2 for 4, 2 RBIs a run. Rendon 1 for 3 in RBI. Juan Soto continues to be terrific. He's just so good. He's 20 years old, and he's really, really good. He went 2 for 4 yesterday with a double, an RBI, and a run. And Howie Kendrick, they're getting production from their veterans. Howie Kendrick won the MVP. Ryan Zimmerman, their first-round pick, the city of D.C. and as a team. He was clutch this series, 5 RBIs, 4 extra base hits. They're getting production from him. Howie Kendrick. Anibal Sanchez carried a no-hitter in the thing. Max Scherzer continues to be dominant. He doesn't seem to age. Patrick Corbin, although he didn't have his best stuff, he still had 12 strikeouts. And the Nationals rotation against the Cardinals combined for 1.35 ERA, .71 WHIP, and they were just dominant. They were really dominant this series, and the Cardinals were, like you said, the Cardinals were just overmatched.
Going back into our archive and our podcast, we rewinded for maybe 2 weeks. You were not ready to pick the Nationals over the Dodgers. You thought Dodgers were going to make it to the World Series. What happened since?
I thought that I was always leaning on the Nationals because I always go back to, like, the Chicago Cubs, like, when they had the 100-year drought. And, like, there was always, for me, that hesitancy of picking teams that never experienced similar to, like, the Cleveland Browns, because I always feel like there's a maximum win. And because even though the Nationals are really talented, I've always liked they're talented, but for me, they would never win, like, a big game. They've had moments in NLDS where they always had the talent, but they would never be able to win that big series. I always liked their team, but this year, maybe having that less expectations of going to the wild card definitely helped them not winning the division, not being guaranteed more than 3 hours of baseball. I think that definitely helped them of not having that easy road and facing a lot of adversity this year. And they wanted to fight Dave Martinez when they were 12 games to 100. So I think having that adversity was definitely able to help this team.
Let's look into the American League. The Yankees are down 1-2. They lost last night 4-1. What's happening there?
I think it's a situation where the Yankees, obviously in Game 1, they got the big game from Tanaka, 6 innings. He gave 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. He left after 68 pitches. He was really good. I felt like Zach Greinke was solid. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. The Yankees were really good in that game. Tanaka continues to be great in the playoffs. I thought he was terrific. I think it's come down to a situation where in games 2 and 3 where the Yankees bats, I mean, Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole is going to be tough, but I thought there's situations where you got to either get him out the game or you got to find a way to get going. I think it's a situation where the Yankees batters right now, Edwin Castillo and Gary Sanchez is struggling at the wrong time. And I think that when you get into short series like this, you run the risk of your guy struggling at the wrong time. And I also think that someone who's getting lost, I think Ottavino's really struggling in the playoffs. I didn't anticipate that. And I think that goes to show you, the loss of – I think this shines a light on the loss of Dylan Betances, because I really think that even though Otto's a great reliever, I really think that Dylan Betances faces lefties, and Ottavino's slider hasn't been that great. I think that's the number one reason why. And I think it's simply the Yankees not taking advantage of the opportunities. In the fifth inning, we just missed a home run. We were 0 for 9 runs going into yesterday. We just didn't capitalize on opportunities. Severino, for a lot of people, what they're saying about Severino, he threw 36 pitches in the first inning. In the second inning, he struggled to get a home run to Reddick. But after that, he was good. His pitch count had him taken out early than he would hope. For him, it's all been about, he's struggled the first couple innings, first 2 innings in the playoffs, and then after that, even the Twins last year against Boston, he's always had trouble in the first inning, but after that, he's been able to rebound. But yesterday, for me, it's about the offense. Guys struggling at the wrong time. I think that's definitely been the difference in this series. The Yankees were much better run scoring this year, but I also feel like they're leaving a lot of people on the bases.
What are your expectations as of right now? Do you think the Yankees can pull out and win this and go to the World Series?
I think obviously playing 4 straight days and having to rain out today doesn't help when you're a team that uses your bullpen like the Yankees. And the Yankees are the only team in baseball that haven't used their relievers in 3 straight games, the only team in baseball. So I think everything's on the table in the playoffs. We already know that. I think that the Yankees can still win this series, but I do think that they are going to have to win the next 2 at home. It's going to have to start tomorrow, each batter. I definitely tomorrow want to see Gleyber Torres in a 3-hole. He's having a great playoffs. I suggested on Twitter, Brett Gardner is the ultimate veteran, but Gleyber Torres has been the best player for the Yankees in the playoffs. So I would like to see Gleyber Torres in the 3-hole, DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres. I would like to see Aaron Hicks moved up from 9. I know he missed 2 months, but he had some great at-bats. He came in game 2. He had the ground out. Yes, I felt like he did a great job against Garrett Cole. He worked his pitch count. He had 2 walks. He did strike out, but he was working the pitch count. He was definitely engaged in the game. So I definitely want to see him around 6. Maybe you sandwich him between Edwin and Gary so you get some better pitches to hit. You don't want to completely just have your top of the order be stronger than the bottom. So you figure out a way to have Gleyber Torres, put him at 3. Maybe you sandwich Hicks in between Edwin and Gary. But you got to find a way to get some more continuity because we're getting the opportunities against Garrett Cole, and Garrett Cole had 5 walks yesterday. We're getting the opportunities against him. We're just not capitalizing those opportunities. But I definitely think Game 4 is definitely for sure a must-win.
A must-win for the Yankees. Long time no see since 2006. We'll love to see a Yankees and Nationals World Series.
That would be really fun, actually.
That would be an interesting East Coast only, but we'll see where the cards are at. We'll see if Yankees have the talent to do so to get over the Astros. Astros has been their, the biggest hurdle this past couple of years, and we'll see if they can do it. Joe Girardi is looking for a job, I hear.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think he should go to the Cubs?
I think Joe Girardi, I think it's going to be tough because I think it depends. I think it depends on, what is he – I think it depends. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about salary. I won't get into that. But I think it's going to depend. Does he want to go back home to Chicago, or does Joe Girardi want to take the Mets up? I know he gets rumored to that a lot. It depends what type of team that you want to manage. Does you want to manage more of a young team? Does you want to manage more of a veteran team? And I think definitely Cubs, Mets are still in play. You hear a lot about the Mets. But I think it depends on what type of team he wants to manage because Joe Girardi is a veteran manager. He's won over 900 games in his career. He's won a championship as both a player and as both a manager. So I think it's going to depend what job he's interested in. Does he want to manage a young team? Does he want to manage a veteran team that's ready to win? It's going to depend a lot on what does he want to manage.
Of course, Joe Girardi is known to coach the Yankees back in the early 2000s and was it early 2000s?
Yeah, up into 2017 when it got them.
Anaheim Angels hired Joe Madden to return. Are you happy about that pick?
I'm not surprised about it at all because like he was obviously one of the front runners. He played for the team like a while ago. So I'm not really surprised about it. Hopefully Shohei Ohtani is pitching next year. I know he's one of their breakout studs that they signed like 2 years ago. So hopefully he's able to continue his thing. He's sort of in the line with his mind took a step back this year, but I don't think I felt that way. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like he took a step back this year. You obviously still continue Mike Trout. You got Pujols for another 2 years. You got an owner in Artie Moreno who's willing to spend. So I definitely think that they're going to be like third or fourth, but because you're competing against Houston, you're still competing against Houston, and you're still competing against an Oakland team that made the playoffs. I definitely think it's still going to be an uphill battle because it's your division. Your division is tough, and also you don't necessarily have the pitchers. But look out for them trying to go after Garrett Cole, the Yankees and the Angels. Garrett Cole from Newport, California. So look out for them making a run at Garrett Cole this winter.
On to college football. Jalen Hurts tried the golden hat on for size and gave a half-hearted horns down sign in a group photo with the cheerleaders while celebrating the way Kyle Murray couldn't in the Red River rivalry a year ago. Now the Oklahoma quarterback will try to get the Sooners back to where Baker Mayfield and Murray took them the past 2 years and where he's been himself 3 times at Alabama, the college football playoffs. Hurts threw 3 touchdowns passes to CeeDee Lamb after 2 big mistakes early. Oklahoma's defense sacked Sam Ehlinger 9 times, and the number 6 Sooners had never trailed in a 34-27 victory over the 11th-ranked Texas on Saturday. What were your thoughts about the match? Caillou?
Oh, my bad. Somebody called me, so my fault. I feel like Oklahoma really did a great job. I think defensively, Oklahoma's been a lot better. And I know we was talking about it. I think it was a couple weeks ago or in the last episode, most recent that I did. I thought that Jalen Hurts really struggled, and it was really impressive because last year Oklahoma wouldn't be able to win a type of game. And I know we gave 27 points. I think we gave a touchdown late. But I know in Oklahoma wouldn't be able to win this game last year, and that was really impressive with us because our defense has really come along strong, and especially getting pressure to Sam Ehlinger. I feel like we're playing a lot more physical this year, more physical football, and I think that's the credit to Alex Grinch, who came over from Ohio State. So I think that having that type of attitude, I think Kenneth Murray's been terrific this year. He's really flying around. Even when he doesn't get a stop on the quarterback, he's really flying around. He's been everywhere. Jalen Hurts struggled, 16 for 28, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. He didn't have a great game, but it's good enough. You're gonna have weeks like this in college football where you don't play well. So it was really good to see Oklahoma's defense just continue to do well. He still had 131 yards on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, like you said, had 3 touchdowns. Really big game. He's continued to climb up the leaderboards in terms of this draft. A lot of people are going to start to continue to talk about him. I think that's going to be a conversation. I was really impressed with Turner Yell, 10 tackles. White had a tackle for a loss. Brown had 7 tackles. Pat Fields had 7 tackles. Kenneth Murray, like I said, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss. So Oklahoma's defense continues. Neville Gallimore, who's our big defensive end, he had 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss. So Oklahoma's defense is really to continue to build, and I'm liking what I see from the Oklahoma defense.
In other Big 12 game scores, Iowa State defeated West Virginia 38-14. Texas Tech defeated Baylor 30-33. Any thoughts about those 2 scores?
No, not really. Business is like being handled. I think I always say use that phrase. But what you start to see from teams right now is I know I was interested in how Georgia, that really caught me thinking, but nothing really too major about the Big 12. Just business, teams handling their business. I thought that teams just handling their business.
Business
I feel like
as usual.
was really, business as usual. Yeah.
Also, in the AP Top 25, Oklahoma moved up one spot, fifth. LSU number 2. Caillou, are you convinced LSU is the number 2 best college football team in the country?
I think right now they definitely deserve to be in that conversation. Joe Burrow's really taking that next leap. I mean, he beat LSU. I mean, he's on LSU. I bet
He beat Florida.
He beat Florida. Yeah, he beat Florida. Yeah, and they have 2 top 10 wins. I mean, they beat Texas, so you have 2 top 10 wins. So you definitely deserve to be in that conversation, especially in Week 7. I mean, you beat 2 top 10 teams. You definitely should be. They improved their offense. I know people said their offense was stuck in the 80s. Now they improved their offense to the 21st century. I don't see why not at this point in the season. Obviously, a lot of things can change when they play Bama and Georgia. That's still going to be tough for them, but I don't see why not. You have 2 top 10 wins. It's Week 7. Why not?
Yeah, that game against Alabama, which will happen November 9th, is going to loom pretty big in the football schedule down the road.
For sure.
Another Appalachian State is in for the first time in the top 25 in the program history. They're at number 24, and Minnesota is at 20. The Gophers have a start of 6-0, so we got a couple new teams in the bottom part of the AP poll. Of course, AP poll is not the official poll, but is a preview forecast of what can happen in the college football playoffs poll, which comes out November 5th on a Tuesday, about a couple of weeks from now. So it should be pretty exciting. We're having a big show after that, just to see what's going on in college football, because things will get a little bit hotter. Let's go into the NFL. The Jets beat the Cowboys. Sam Darnold gave the Jets' struggling offense to a huge boost by throwing 2 touchdown passes in his return from mono. And New York held on to beat the Dallas Cowboys 24-22 on Sunday night. For the first win of the season, the Jets led 21-9 in the fourth quarter, but Dak Prescott and the top-ranked Cowboys offense stormed back and had a chance to tie in the closing moments. Was it a good Jets team, or was just the Cowboys just struggling?
I think it's always a bit of both. I think the Cowboys' offense has been – Jason Garrett made a questionable
Garrett.
Yeah, Jason Garrett made a questionable he made a questionable call. So I think that definitely goes a long way. And I think that it's a good – I think it's in between. I think the Jets were due to win. So I think it's always in between. I think the Jets were due to win. They got Sam Darnold back, so that was a huge win for them. But the Cowboys got to start winning some games. That's 3 straight losses for the Cowboys.
Jalen Ramsey is now a Ram. He's been traded to the LA Rams for 2 first-round picks in 2021, and a 4th-round pick in 2021. This comes just a few hours after the Rams agreed to send cornerback Marcus Peters to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for the linebacker Kenny Young and a 5th-round draft choice. Of course, Ramsey played for the Jaguars. How a significant impact is that for the Rams?
I think it's huge. It gives them more star power. I sort of had a couple of thoughts on this, and I know I tweeted about it earlier. I think it's important for the Rams because they need it with the 49ers. I think they've been struggling offensively. I think it gives them more star power. I think where it weakens the Rams, you don't have a first-round pick to 2022. So you're relying on a lot of star power, which is great. You win with talent, always win with talent and hard work and all that stuff. But it gives the Rams more star power, but it also weakens them. They don't have a lot of depth. Their O-line doesn't have a lot of depth. Their O-line is not the same. You obviously upgraded. Did the Rams give up too much? I feel like the Rams probably gave up too much. Dillon has a lot of leverage. He's a free agent in 2020. But it's a situation where if you're the Rams and you want to upgrade talent, you're going to have to give up more than you want. In terms of where the Jaguars go from here, I like what the Jaguars. They obviously stockpile more picks. They're in the AFC South, so things are kind of shambles in that division. Like, things are up for grabs. So it wasn't meant to be in Jacksonville. Him and Tom Coughlin wasn't going to, given, age and, millennial ways of Jalen Ramsey and how, Tom Coughlin wants to handle business. But that's no here and there. But I think it's good for the Rams. It gives them more star power. I think it definitely improves their team. People are saying, what impact does it do in NFC West? I think it's more about when they go to the playoffs, when they're facing offenses like Rodgers, they can use a Jalen Ramsey to shut down a Devontae Adams or of that sort, or they can use him against Amari Cooper. Charlotte Cowboys make the playoffs. They can use him against an Alshon Jeffrey of the Eagles. They can use him against a Michael Thomas and the Saints. So I think it's for more of the playoffs. A lot of people are focusing on what it means in the NFC West. I think it's more for those matchups in the playoffs because the Rams expect to be in the playoffs this year. So I think it's more for that.
How about Marcus Peters going to the Ravens? How much would that be an impact for them?
I think it's huge. It's a two-team division with the Browns. I still think it's a two-team race. So I think with Earl Thomas and playing in Baltimore, I think it's huge for them.
Good for the Baltimore Ravens. Known for their defense, and of course, we're seeing Lamar Jackson, put in some video game numbers onto other teams. So we'll see what happens in the AFC North between the Ravens and the Browns. Browns, they're gelling that sometimes, but at times they're going back to their old ways. But we'll see what happens. Caillou, anything else before we head into the big game predictions?
No.
Let's start with the Pac-12, Arizona State at Utah.
I think Utah should win this game.
Michigan Wolverines at the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Michigan's got to keep on winning. It's a winnable game for them. I think Michigan should win this game.
Michigan beats Penn State. Good pick. Oregon at Washington.
Oregon.
Oregon continues their stride in the Pac-12 and possibly winning the Pac-12 North if they win that match. NFL, Raiders at the Packers.
Packers, and I think the Packers win. I think I've been really impressed with the Smith brothers, the Darius Smith and Preston Smith. Those guys bring renewed energy. They're flying around. Aaron Rodgers made a 4-6-yard play to Valdez Scantling. He's playing without Adams, Darnell Savage. So I definitely feel like a lot of Lions fans are outraged about the call. I mean, it was a missed call, but they had opportunities in the beginning of the game, and they didn't. But the Packers should win this week.
Saints at the Bears.
I think it's at the Bears.
At Chicago. Yes, sir.
It's in Chicago. I like how Teddy Bridgewater is playing. He's undefeated, but playing in Soldier Field in October against Khalil Mack and that team, I'm not picking against the Bears. As much as I want them to pull up the upset because it helps the NFC North and it gives the Packers extra game, I can't see it happening in Chicago.
What does that say if the Saints do win in Chicago?
Oh, I think if they do, I think the Saints defense, in fact, is underrated. If the Saints win in Chicago, it says a lot about Teddy Bridgewater, and it just speaks to how great he's been, and it reconfirms why he's the highest paid backup in the league. I think it says a lot about Teddy Bridgewater and Sean Payton. The fact that you go on the road into Chicago, playing a great defense, one of the best defenses in football, and you're able to win that game, that's impressive.
Now, if Breeze came back today, would you start him or Bridgewater?
No doubt. You got to start Drew Brees. I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't even think it's a question. You got to start Drew Brees.
Baltimore Ravens go into Seattle.
I'm picking Seattle. Seattle's always tough at home. That crowd. Russell Wilson is playing some of his best football right now. He's in the MVP conversation. Him, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. There's others, but those are my 4 or 3. I think I listed 3. I think definitely going to Seattle. Russell Wilson's playing outstanding. He continues that mojo. Seattle.
Tough to go against the 12th man. Cardinals at the New York Giants in MetLife.
This game is tricky because Kyler Murray puts up a lot of things, but sometimes he starts slow. They have these comebacks. But the game is in New York, right?
Correct.
I think that they definitely win this game. I think Daniel Jones bounced back, and I think they win this game.
Are you a Daniel Jones fan?
Yeah, I'm starting to buy in more and more.
How about Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I'm Sam Darnold.
How about the Patriots at the Jets? Monday Night Football. Patriots are undefeated.
Yeah.
If Sam Darnold wins that game, you can say he's a keeper.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Darnold wins that game.
Game 4, Houston at the Yankees. Who you got, Caillou? Be honest.
I'm going to roll my Yankees. Again, Tanaka's pitched really outstanding in the playoffs. Tanaka pitches well in the playoffs. I'm actually going to roll with the Yankees. And for a couple of reasons. The Yankees haven't lost back-to-back home games since April 12th. That's still there. And also, Tanaka's been great. And the first matchup against Zach Greinke, we really did a great job. Our palm has been Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. Even then, we've had opportunities. Even though they're great, we've had opportunities in Game 2 against the bullpen. We had an opportunity, but Phil Nevin decided to send DJ LeMahieu tie game. We had bases loaded against Verlander in the 6th. I'm going to go with the Yankees. I know I'm a Yankee fan, but
give a score.
I think it's going to be close this time around. I don't think the Yankees are going to score 7 runs because we have a lot of guys struggling in the lineup. But I definitely think Boone's going to mix up the lineup. Like I said, DJ is going to lead off as he always does. Judge and Gleyber Torres. I think it's going to be a close game. I could see the Yankees scoring 3 runs against Zach Greinke, and then them just adding 2 more runs against their bullpen, and I could see a 5-2 sort of type of game.
Will this rain delay help out the Yankees?
I think it can help out the Yankees, but it depends on Game 4. They obviously have to win Game 4. I was disappointed because the winner of Game 3 wins 66% of the time, and that's an overwhelming amount. That's an overwhelming amount of games. So I definitely think that it could possibly help the Yankees if they win Game 4.
Looking forward towards Game 4. Random question: what is your favorite type of food? Vegetables, fruits, grains, or meat?
Meat.
Meat is winning on the Twitter poll by 100%. No one's giving an inch to fruits, vegetables, or grains. How about that?
Always got to go meat.
It could be anything. It'd be beef, chicken, all the meat you can think of.
Yeah, always meat.
Always meat. My favorite meat is hamburger meat. I'm not sure about your, but that.
Same as well.
Well, big weekend in sports. Caillou, how can people reach you to talk to you about
they can reach me.
The Nationals pitching?
They can reach me on Twitter at Caillou Borden 12 and on Instagram at Caillou Borden 12.
Is pitching key in the playoffs?
Always is.
More than the regular season.
Yes.
It's incredible, isn't it? Anyways, you can reach us at thesportscast.net or on Twitter at thesportscast1. We'll be live tweeting a few games this weekend. Caillou's been doing an excellent job tweeting on NFL game day, having fun, what's going on. Of course, it's like watching Red Zone, but you're seeing it on Twitter. If you don't have Red Zone or if you don't have any TV or radio, go to the Twitter. Right, Caillou?
Facts.
Exactly. So visit us on the sportscast.net or on Twitter at the sportscast1. Throughout the week, we'll be giving you some news. Justin Riley will be on Friday to tell us a little bit about Alabama, Tennessee, and what's his thoughts about LSU. Some people think LSU should be number 1. Some other people think it's Ohio State. So things are kind of moving in the college football world, but we'll see what happens. Caillou, always a pleasure.
Thank you.